Hello everyone, welcome back. We're going to be looking at the global challenge that just ended, the grand challenge, so no Japan. My fridge just turned on. I don't know if you guys can hear that. We're going to look at kind of some of the teams that have been doing well, or the teams that did do well, I guess it's over, and kind of see, what the metagame is looking like here. So, in first place, we got Thiago Latanzi. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Max Ben 10. He got, I think he got second at LAIC like a couple years ago, and he won with this kind of like whimsicott hyper offense looking team. So, I mean, there's no point in putting this in showdown because I don't have the items or the moves, so I just kind of be like guessing. So I can guess, but I don't know how accurate it's gonna be. So we got the whimsicott, then we got the Chiyu, Urshifu, Indeedee, Rockpond, Crown. So this is kind of variation of Crown Town. Obviously, the kind of main core being probably this Whimsicott, Indeedee, Crown. And the Whimsicott here obviously providing Tailwind support. Plus you have this Urshifu. I would assume this is probably a Water Urshifu. Because you already have the Dark type in Chiyu. But the idea here is that you have this very offensive special attacking core, which is very strong to a lot of the metagame right now. Like, really, not a lot of Pokemon love to be going up against a really oppressive team like this. I'm assuming the Indeedee probably has something like Imprison as well to stop those hard Trick Room teams. And the Crown obviously blowing stuff up along with the Chiyu. On the whole, you just get so much value out of these special attacking pieces that you're doing insane amounts of damage. Now, I think as for the items on this team, this is probably Sash, because you don't really need a Covert Cloak because you have the Indeedee setting up the terrain. So worst case scenario, you just you can lead Whim's Crown or Whim's Chiyu and then just switch the other piece out into Indeedee and then just click Tailwind. So I'm not sure why you would need Covert Cloak. Maybe if you're not, if there's lines where you don't bring Indeedee and you want to set Tailwind, but I think for the most part you're probably running something like the Focus Sash on here. This Chiyu is probably Scarf or Specs. The idea is that you're just doing extra damage. I think it really just depends on which one you want to use. I'm sure both are probably playable. This Ursh is probably maybe Mystic. I can see it being Mystic Water. I can see it being Dark Ursh Banded, but I would think it's probably if I was using this team, I'd probably use this as a Mystic Water Ursh. I don't know if that would be good, but you could do it. And then here we got the female Indeedee. This is probably there's so many items this thing can run. There's Rocky Helmet, Mental Herb, Psychic Seed. There's a lot of different things that you could run here. This Indeedee item is I would literally just be blind guessing. I'm not even gonna try. Then we got the Rock Pond. Obviously, its item is normal, and then we have the Iron Crown, which is probably booster energy. So, on the whole, this team very very strong. You're probably doing a lot of interesting lead options. I can imagine with double redirection, you can probably lead Indeedee Chiyu if they don't have a lot of spread, and just follow me Spec/Scarf Heatwave everything, and just do a ton of damage with Tailwind and Crown in the back. Then you're just absolutely messing stuff up. But that is one option. Okay, so Kieran Singh, very, very good Australian player, getting second place. So this time he actually did post his team, not a different person, and this is looking like a very interesting rain team. Obviously, we have the Iron Hands, we have the Frigraph. I think what's interesting about this is that this Trick Room mode is not very strong, relative to how good the rest of the team is, how solid it is. Obviously we got the Tailwind, probably Rain Dance, almost definitely Rain Dance Torn. Then you got this this water, presumably Water Urshifu, which is just combined with the Lando and the Basket Legion. That's a 4 Tailwind Hyper Offense Rain core that is super super oppressive and super super strong. And then we have the Frigraph and the Iron Hands, which is makes a little bit less sense, I think, at least to me, just off of first glance, because obviously you don't really have none of these other Pokemon really love to be in Trick Room, or yeah. But if you look at it, if the opposing team has Trick Room, if you're playing something like Vovomax's team, this team really does not like going up against faster Pokemon in Tailwind. So having that kind of Trick Room option is very very strong. Plus having the Fake Out option with Iron Hands, plus Iron Hands just being a generally bulky and good Pokemon, you don't really need the speed on Iron Hands, especially if this is Throw Spray or something. Then you have you're doing a ton of damage with the Frigraph and the Iron Hands, and then you have the Urshifu if your opponent's setting Tailwind. These pieces are probably slower than your opponent's Tailwind, so that's probably just more of a countermeasure against opposing Tailwinds if I had to guess. Maybe there's a world where the Ursh is room service or something, but I would be very surprised. We can see here Weedle Twineedle just try to guess some moves. 3 of 6. Okay. So this is definitely Assault Vest. Like, I feel like there's no world. Maybe this is Clear Amulet, but this is probably Assault Vest. This is probably Mystic Water. This is probably, yeah, this is probably Sash or Covert Cloak. This is Scarf Adaptability. I could see this being Mystic Water too. There's a lot of different sets. This is Life Orb. Like, there's just so much stuff that you can use. This is probably like Goggles, if I had to guess, because I feel like if you are probably not gonna be leading like Torn for Graph. I just don't think that's a very common lead option. So I think as a whole, like, this is just a very, very strong Rain team that has a lot of potential, has a lot of strength, and I think it's just cool to see something kind of new, because like both these first two teams that we've seen have not really been teams that have been popular. Like, these teams that are doing well right now are not these teams that we've been seeing all format, which is interesting going into Toronto to see what the metagame is going to be like. So we got this kind of interesting version of Tinglu Gyapdos that has been around. Obviously, this Sinistra is still here, but we actually get the moves and the Terra types and the items, which is kind of insane. So I guess we'll start with the standard stuff. This Dragonite, very, very standard. This is the standard Dragonite, like, on these kind of teams. I think that's really the only piece that's kind of the same. Like, obviously we got the Steel Loaded Dice Scale Shot. This one is multi-scale. There's a lot of them that are running Inner Focus, but I think it really just depends on the player preference. This is cool, like, just normal Dragonite. Then Sinistra, which, I mean, most of them run Sinistra. There's some Mungus too. And it actually has Curse over Trick Room, so there's no Trick Room option, which is interesting, because you would think that with the Orthworm and the Tinglu and the not Scarf Gyapdos, that you'd really enjoy a Trick Room mode, but I guess not. Like, I think Curse is also an interesting move. I didn't even know Sinistra got Curse, to be honest, but that's probably very, very good Dondozo answer, and very, very good to bulky Pokemon that like to set up. But I think this is cool. Like, this is a cool Sinistra, Curse Sinistra. The rest of it is pretty standard, but Curse is kind of cool. Like, Curse Strength Snap is kind of fire, because you can Curse them and then Strength Sap them and just, like, steal all of their health and attack. I guess we'll talk about the Gyapdos next. So, this Gyapdos is normally Terra Ghost Scarf, and this one is Terra Steel Cloak, because a lot of people are probably trying to fake out it. Gyapdos is naturally, like, decently fast. It's not very bulky, but I'm assuming if you're running Cloak, you're assuming that you're gonna be fast, like, slower than most Gyapdos anyways. So, assuming that you are going to be slower than most Gyapdos, it does make sense why you just run, like, full bulk and no offense, especially if you're having this Scarf Lando. You probably don't need as much offense. I mean, like, you have so many bulky pieces here, and you have, like, just enough, like, healing just to outlive everything, that I think this Cloak Gyapdos makes sense. And keep in mind, it's also important to mention that you can switch moves with this Covert Cloak Gyapdos, which does allow you to better deal with those, like, Flutter Mains that normally, like, you have to pick between Click and Coaching or Brave Bird, and now you can do both. Plus Terra Steel is kind of nice too. This is a very good best of 1 tech. I don't know how good this is in best of 3, but in best of 1 it's pretty good. So now we got the Orthworm. This is the piece that I think is the kind of the coolest on the team. This is a very standard Earthworm, like Body Press, Heavy Slam, Shed Tail, Iron Defense is what most of them run. I'm not really sure why you would use Orthworm. Like, maybe you can, like, Shed Tail out into into Dragonite, and then, like, Coaching and be immune to Intimidate, plus this, like, the substitute multi-scale, like, kind of reminds me of how people used to use Terapagos, the sub Terra Shell Terapagos. But I think it's a very, very cool strategy, and I also think, like, it works well with Tinglu as well, because, like, imagine you're sitting there Coaching buff behind a substitute, and then you bring in Tinglu. Your Dragonite's just a raid boss. The thing's not dying, because Tinglu's Vessel of Ruin is kind of slowing down the special attacks. Plus, you have the multi-skill to take, like, no damage anyways, and then you have the defense boost from the Coaching. So you're actually just, like, sitting in front of every single attack and just not dying, which I think is really cool. But keep in mind, like, you're also immune to Fake Out, you're immune to Intimidate, which makes this multi-skill the better pick of the ability if you're planning on using this Orthworm. I think the most interesting thing about this Tinglu is that it has Payback. Normally they run Throat Chop, but Payback makes sense. Tinglu's slow. Obviously there's no Trick Room option, so you're not really getting a lot of value out of trying to make your Tinglu move first. So having yourself move last intentionally with Payback is a very, very cool option, because then, like, you're pretty much just getting 100 base power, no drawback move. Which is actually stronger than the Earthquake would be because of the dual target boost. So I think that's important to keep in mind, and also something to consider going into Toronto. For other people planning on running something similar to this, I think there's definitely a world where you run Payback over Throat Chop. Sunny Day Scarf Lando. So I don't really, maybe it's just me, I don't really understand the Sunny Day on this. Like, I understand kind of why it's there, like, probably to combat rain. But you don't really have any Pokemon here that can take advantage of Sun. Like, you don't even have any Fire-type moves on this team. So you're not really boosting that and like Sun anyway. I mean, it's not bad. You can shut down Snow. You can shut down a lot of stuff. But it's probably a tech for a certain matchup. I'm not sure. I'd have to like test the team more extensively, but it's probably a tech for like a different weather matchup. But then you obviously have the EQ, the Rock Slide, the U-turn. I think if you're planning on not running Terra Flying, Terra Blast on this, like you just have an extra slot, and I guess Sunny Day was the choice that this person decided on. Probably again to tech a certain matchup that might be a little bit more difficult. But on the whole, I think like you have like double Earthquake here plus double Flying type. Like you have so many like lead options, and you have so many game plans with this team. It makes sense why I was able to do really well in the GC. So now we got Cohen in 4th place, and he is using standard bolt balance. I mean, it was going to show up eventually. This team is very, very normal. I don't know why. I have a gut feeling that this is just like a really wonky version. Like I want to say like this is Clear Amulet. This is like Mystic or Scarf or something. Like I feel like this is like, because like I don't know what the value in hiding the items is, because like if you're just looking at it, obviously this is Boost Energy. Obviously this is Assault Vest. Obviously this is Scarf. Obviously this is Life Orb. Does like can't hold an item, and this is probably like left user booster or something, or this is booster, but like you get the idea. Like I'm not really sure why you would bother hiding the items unless you have something to hide, which makes me think that Cohen kind of tweaked this team to make it maybe a bit better for best of one, because I'm assuming you look at this team and you're going, oh well, I know what this, like I know exactly how this team plays, but no you don't. If the items are different, then this team functions completely differently, which is a very, very smart move by Cohen. I think on the whole it's a very, very strong team. Obviously, it's bolt balance. It's not going to be bad. But I think having that surprise factor on top of just having 6 consistent pieces and just playing well allows you to have these really, really good placements like this that Cohen was able to achieve with a team that looks standard. I would be very surprised if this was just the basic items, to be honest. But I guess we'll see if there's any European regionals. I'm pretty sure Cohen is somewhere. I don't remember. Somewhere in Europe. If there's any European regionals that he's planning on going to, I'm sure he'll bring something similar, and we'll get to see what kind of items are on this, which would be cool. But yeah, so apart from that, we have like MDB. I'm just like checking to see what he's actually didn't check this beforehand. Landorus. This Bando? Yeah, okay. It's just Bando. That is just, yeah. I'm not really sure what else to say. This is just standard Bando team. I feel like these Goldengo are not normally citrus. The Life Orb Ursh is kind of interesting too. I guess this is not really the standard Bando team, but I think this is a very, very cool adaptation of Bando. Bando is cool. And then, like, obviously, Hoj probably using some, like, Ursaluna team or something. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay. Gross Ursaluna. Shocker! Hoj using Ursaluna. Who could have seen that one going? Marco not revealing. Chris not revealing. Let's see what Dom's using. Okay. Okay, Dom. We're gonna have to talk to him about that one. I don't know about that one. But yeah, if you guys want to see more, subscribe. If you don't, then I don't know what to tell you. Goodbye.